Well, while we're at it here, I'm going to come back and revisit the shimming that I was talking about. I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together here to show you, but there's quite a bit of play, as you can see, back and forth when I pull on this dog bone here, and that's not good. It's not that it's bad, but it's best if that play is not there. So what we're going to do to fix that is to remove the set screw from here, or just loosen it, and poke this pin back out and take the hub off. Included in the kit are shims for this. They're teeny tiny little ones. We're going to go ahead and, I know for just by looking at it, it's going to take more than 2. So we're going to put 3 of those shims on there. And we're going to put the stub back on, and we're going to see how much play is still there. Let's take a look. White balance on the camera goes off when I get too close. But we're going to see that there still is more play. Shimming is tricky because you don't want to over shim. If you over shim, you're going to put pressure on the bearings, and they're going to wear out and bind and cause all sorts of problems. So the trick is that you want to shim just until there is still a very, very small amount of play. If you put another shim in and there's no play, you're going to want to take that back off. You can hear it and see that there still is. I put 4 on there. There still is just a teeny bit of shim of play there. So we're good. Each one of them is going to be different. So just because I have 4 shims does not mean that you will have 4 shims. So if you would choose to, go ahead and shim those. If you don't want to, then that's up to you. But the less play that there is in these, the less chances there are of burning the bearings out or breaking parts. Tighten that back up. I'm going to go ahead and swivel this. When I tighten it up, it's actually too tight. It's not easily turning. I'm just putting light pressure on and it's not turning, which means that it's binding up. So we're going to take 1 shim out. And shimming is a process, and it does take time, but it's worth it. Where did my little driver go? There it is. So I'm going to come back in and take 1 shim off, put it back together. And that is how you properly shim your axle. Okay, let's check it again. Now we are turning with very, very little resistance. So wheat is all good. Okay. Going to get all of our stuff put together and move on to step number 12. Step number 12. Let's get our steering mounted to our A-arms. So go ahead and take off of your trees the AX31018-2, which is your left side, and -1, which is your right side. Don't get those two mixed up. We're going to put this into the position that we see in the directions here. Double check. You can see the part with the holes is in this direction, and the part where we're mounting the steering is in this direction. Grab the unit that we have, which should be the right unit, or I'm sorry, the left unit. We're working on the left. And go ahead and we're going to set these 2 pieces together here. And then from the front side here, we're going to insert the screw. Make sure it all lines up, pushes in. And we're going to put a lock nut on the following side. When you tighten this up, don't over tighten it because you will get binding. This is where the little universal tool that came in your kit comes in handy. It's also handy to make sure that I have the right nut driver. We're going to tighten this up. Maybe. There we go. And you're only going to tighten it up until it touches. No more. You don't want it to bind. And the screw should be just about even with the nut. Well, that white balance on my camera every time I go up close changes. Okay, so we want to make sure that there is no binding. And if it's binding, you may want to loosen that up a little bit or double check to see that there's no rough edges inside. We're going to repeat that for the right side, since this one is the left, and we will be right back when that's done. Okay, step number 13. We're going to attach the arms to, I guess we're going to call this the bulkhead, or the front A-arm assembly module unit, whatever. Okay, we're going to place it in the position that you see it in the directions, like this, and make sure that we get the proper parts into the proper side. This is the left side, so it's going to slide into here. Well, those are a little tight going in there. Interesting. I'm just testing it and seeing if it's binding at all. It's just you do have to bend the plastic a little bit to get that in. Very interesting. And then this one's going to go onto the other side. So let's do one side at a time here so we don't have stuff falling all over the place. And I've lined up the holes here. I'm going to try to push this long ass screw through there. There we go. And it pokes out the rear. So let's put a nut on there and tighten her down. To put the nut on there, you have to watch that your flat side is in the right position here, otherwise it's not going to go on straight. It's pretty tight back in there. Interesting. I just don't see a way to hold this nut to tighten it down. There's not a lot of clearance in the rear here to hold it with anything. And even getting it in the right position to get started is tricky. I think I got her started. Let's see if we can hold it with something. I'm going to hold it front to back here to see if we can get it started. There we go. Not easy. I don't think this little tool is going to fit over it properly. You know what? You can force that little tool on there to hold it. That might be the answer. Kind of a odd position for a screw. I'm going to put it in. I'm not going to crank down on it because I don't want it to be over tight. And yeah, it's not binding. Hey, we're in good shape there. Sorry about the odd camera angles and whatnot. Let's see if we can't get this other one in, which is not going to be easy either. Very interesting. I'm going to run my driver through there to make sure it's straight. Slip the screw in and push it in. Go back over to the back here, and that's where our nuts got to go on. So let's see what we can do here. Can't just spin the nut on because there's not a lot of room back here. A little difficult. Okay, we get the nut started by just holding it on and screwing from the front. And let's see if we can force this driver on. There we go. Okay, not too bad. And tighten it down just until it touches. There we go. Okay. Oop, I didn't get that on enough. Excuse me. It's kind of hard to see. We call it porn position because I'd like you to see what I'm doing in the camera and I can't stick my head in the way. So I work at awkward angles for your viewing pleasure. I kind of just have the wrench slipped on there halfway so I can see the gap, because we only want to put it down till it touches. There we go. And it doesn't look like we have any binding issues on either side. It's not loose by any means, but it's not binding. Okay. There we go. We're starting to get bigger here. So that, my friends, was step number 13, and we are now going to set up and move to the next step.